I'd like to take a moment to show you the Twisted Quads Transponder Dock. My goal was to make it super easy for you to move your transponder from one frame to another, yet still securely mount it to your quad so it doesn't get lost or damaged while racing. It does require a little modification of your transponder, but you already built a quad, I'm sure you can handle this. First, an overview of the dock. It fits your iLapse transponders. It fits your TrackMate transponders. Because the TrackMate transponder is smaller, it does require a shim, which is included with the dock. It has a vertical mounting point, which is good for standoffs, and it's got a hole for a zip tie if you feel you need to secure it further. These can also be used any other number of ways if you want to strap it down to the top of the quad or to one of the plates inside. Pretty much use your imagination. You can mount this thing anywhere. To set up your dock, the first step you need to do is unwrap the existing transponder from its shrink wrap cage. Be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to remove any of the components. And as always, use a nice sharp X-Acto, unlike what I've got here, so you don't slice a finger off. Once you've got the shrink wrap off, just go ahead and separate the pigtail and get rid of that because you're not going to need it anymore. I like to clean these pads up just a little bit. Next, you're going to go ahead and solder on the pin header in place of the pigtail you just took off. There's probably a lot of different ways to do this. I like to stabilize the pins using a servo connector, because I find that if you don't, they tend to shift around a little. So I just slide them into a spare servo connector I have laying around. I got this backwards. Throw a little flux on here. Helps things move along nicely. Then I just press it to a nice flat surface, get everything lined up, give it a little bit of heat to sort of set things. And then I give it a little bit more heat. And get some solder on there. You want to be careful not to overheat things, of course. These are electronics. If it gets too hot to touch, you probably had it on there too long. But your end result is a nice, solid pin header that slides right in to your transponder dock. And I don't have the shim in there, that's why that was loose. Like that. Now for security, you slide the loop over. This one's, the shim has its own loop, and that's to keep it from coming out. You slide that one over first, and then the other one. That way, if you do crash and it tries to fly out, it can't. I have not lost one of these transponders since implementing the loop system. Of course, there is no guarantee that it won't eject because I've seen you guys crash. If you're going to do this with the iLapse transponder, you take the shim out. Just slide it on in. And the loop is a little bit harder to get on here, but this stuff is pretty stretchy. And there you go. Then to install it to your airframe, you go ahead and solder your ground and your positive. Your ground goes towards the outside edge of the dock, or the bottom edge of the dock, and the positive goes towards the inside of the dock. You have to remember that. If in doubt, both iLapse and TrackMate do have the polarity marked on them. iLapse is on the front and TrackMate is on the back. So, it's that easy.